We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this an alternative world branched off.
And the Mandela Effect is just a double-edged sword. It can either wake you or put you into a deeper sleep. Hey, this video I'm responding to a question from Herla Maggart69. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. I said I was going to answer your question, and this is the video. If the Mandela Effect shows us anything, it's that the Mandela Effect shows us that humans are much more greater than what they think they are. First, by meaning the Mandela Effect being a double-edged sword, I will go over the sleep part first. Let's assume everyone is asleep in their conscious state, which most of us still are. When you see changes in your simulation, you would assume that it's always been that way and that you must have interpreted wrong. And the reason I said simulation is because that's going to be important at the end of this video. The sleepers that believe they interpreted what they saw was wrong, they begin to reinforce the belief to the lower version of themselves is that their higher self that see what's really going on doesn't exist, and is a figment of their imagination that keep having these crazy thoughts and allow AI to control their existence. They perceive everything as what they see, read, and hear, and not what they think.
Into the engine. If you go inside, if you dive inside, you can see some interesting part of the engine. Go inside.
In schools, we are taught not to think, which could pose a challenge for many that's been under a lifelong brainwashing. Some are so lost they don't notice any difference or refuse to accept, which would eventually cause them to lose their souls because the truth is being stolen right in front of them and disconnecting them from their true God self. The soul trap. The powers that be can make any changes, whether by accident or intentional, and the sleepers would believe every bit of it. Ask the people who still read the Bible. That's been changed multiple times by Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is the phenomena that the reality that people are experiencing is not what they recalled in the past. False memory. The Mandela Effect is not the merging of two or more realities. If that was the case, we would have tons of doppelgangers, and some people would have different number of siblings or kids. One reality you may have one kid, another one you may have 3. Everybody here still have the same amount of kids and siblings. That's amazing. Because why wouldn't we think one reality would be more dominant than the other but still have residues of the weaker one? Evil people that discovered how to manipulate reality, whether it's by CERN or HARP or D-Wave, is static shocking the code in the fabric of our simulated reality by changing the frequency that we are receptive to. By changing those frequencies also affects our past, because frequencies don't just stop where they started. It's part of our reality now. So in order to be a part of our reality in the present, it has to have its place in the past, like the double rainbow, for instance. For me, never seen it before until recently, somewhere in the early 2000s. I don't have to look, and I bet there's pictures of double rainbows way in the past. Here's a good one. The Statue of Liberty. I'm not talking about the one that used to be on Ellis Island. That one I know for sure. I'm talking about the one where his lantern arm got destroyed by a German's munition explosion, and it's been damaged and unsafe to use for over 100 years. How come this was never taught to us in history class? Now I know I saw people on TV on that arm, including magician David Copperfield, where he appeared on the arm. And I also know a guy I see almost every day told me he's been up in that arm. You see, if the arm is destroyed in the present, it has to have an origin story in the past. The reality we are experiencing is a bundle of infinite frequencies that our consciousness receives and creates. The more you raise your consciousness, the more frequencies you can tap into. Now you start to see things that make you doubt yourself. Let's go back to the Statue of Liberty's arm. Most of you listening are very aware. Some of you and ones that's starting to get it may be experiencing 2 memories. One with, I know I seen someone in that arm, and the other with knowing no one has been in that arm for more than 100 years. That's because the higher version of yourself is sensitive enough to still tap into the original frequencies. You can't bring it back, but you're still attached to it. This is where we come to the other side of the blade. The Mandela Effect can also show humans that they are more than what they think they are. By changing the frequencies of reality should tell you right there that we are in a simulation. You are not you. You cannot spiritually grow if you base your existence on an avatar in one of many simulations. What do I mean? You know we have many organs and body changes, right? Our skulls have new bone structures. The heart is now in the center of the chest. So what does that tell you? That our bodies are part of the simulation. Your mind is not. Your memories are being stored outside this simulation and our consciousness is just being projected here. Because if your mind was part of the simulation, those second versions of memories wouldn't exist in your mind, which is why the powers that be are trying to control it and trap your soul here forever. Here's a question. How come it's only celebrities that have name changes and seem to die twice? I haven't met anyone or seen a comment yet saying they know of a loved one that they thought died and found out they were still alive. Let me tell you a personal story about actor-comedian Jerry Lewis. Now, I know I seen Jerry Lewis die years before he died, and you could tell what year he died too, because he used to run this telethon, the children's telethon, every year. The year he died, they had one more telethon. I think he wasn't on it, but after that, it stopped. That's around the year he died originally, even though now they say he was dismissed as host in 2010. Isn't that the same year that the Mandela Effect was coined? So I'm thinking he died, and then you hear that he died again. And like, what was he doing all this time? He was doing background voices for shows and cartoons. Nobody ever knew about it. You never heard about it. That's a good way to keep him hidden. So he was alive doing background voices. He's been dead. And the telethon would prove that he's been dead. That's when it stopped. The year he died, they televised everything. I remember all of this. But that's my personal story. I just want you to know that. So, back to my question. How come it's only celebrities that have name changes and seem to die twice? I have a theory about that. They're clones. How else can you explain why they don't recognize that their own name has changed? And since clones are made here and not born into an avatar, they are products. And products can be duplicated and subjected to the changes of the Mandela Effect. You want to hear something interesting? The Mandela Effect made lots of changes to our reality. But you want to know the one thing it doesn't change? And maybe it's just me, but it doesn't seem to change numbers. Remember this tidbit? Coincidence always uses accurate precision and have predictive outcome. This got me thinking. You know what else uses accurate precision and predictive outcomes? Numbers. Coincidence tells us that everything we experience are in numbers. Everything we see, everything we touch, everything we feel, smell, taste, all has numbers. There's numbers in everything. Distance, height, weight, volume, even the air we breathe has numbers. The number of molecules in everything, even food. Has anyone's bank account amount mysteriously changed? Has your height changed? What about all speed limits? Birth dates, social security number, age, any logo or name that has a number in it? You get it. I guess precise numbers sustains this simulation. Something to think about. Well, Hurler Magart 69, that's my theory on the Mandela Effect. I hope this gives you some clarity on the subject. Thanks for asking. To everyone else, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Keep your eyes open and I will talk to you real soon. Peace.